Welcome back to season 3 of Let's Talk About. You know what the talk show is, you know the format. Can I just say, I've missed you guys so much. I'm sorry it's been so long, but I'm back. I'm back here with a purpose. And speaking of purpose, this leads us beautifully into our first guest of the season, the amazing Trenice Saddler. How are you?
Very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. And you know, I wanted to bring you on here because I really resonate with who you are and what you do as well. How heavy you are on something we both believe in, which is God, and the mighty word and whatnot. And especially how that is within our industry in acting, because it's not the easiest of industries to navigate. It's very complex. And I really wanted to hear from you as well about how it is for you as well, for someone who's so heavy on the word of Christ and whatnot, to navigate in this industry. How has it been for you?
You know what, so far for me, it actually hasn't been as daunting as it's perceived from like the Christian community. I've actually had a very smooth journey these past 2 years pursuing acting. What I will say though is there's a lot of fear and fear of being your authentic self, and is this too much? But the Lord just constantly reminds me that people are drawn to my light, and there is nothing wrong with being on fire for Christ and also being a fantastic storyteller. Amen. And those are the things I just want to uphold, and it's just who I am. And I think naturally people will be just drawn to me, you know, and just be inspired, really, you know.
See, and this is why I thought it was so imperative, because I love how authentic you are. And I love how you do not sacrifice your authenticity to fit in. You're here to stand out, and we're all here to stand out. But especially with your belief as well, you're here for a reason. And I love that for you. So again, speaking on the industry as well, like we was having this conversation earlier off camera, speaking of the word on set to fellow actors and actresses, we were talking about drama school as well. How has that been for you? That's been a big source of motivation, I imagine. Yeah,
so drama school for me has probably been the best journey. So I started drama school in 2022, January, and then summer 2021, that was the time I made the decision to start this acting journey because of my love of film. And, you know, through prayer and fasting, I really allowed the Lord to show me if this is what He wants for me, can I be here, as much as me finding an interest in it. And once I got the go-ahead, I ran with it. And I remember I auditioned for, you know, Identity. And I remember on that day, I was like to the Lord, I want to get into this school because of their alumni and their philosophy, you know, what they believe in and how they champion their students. And had a great audition, and just being in that drama school for the first 6 months of my journey has been amazing. It's been amazing to see how people are drawn to me, my faith, and just how they were really challenged on their perspective on the industry and, you know, will you let go of integrity for a role? I remember we used to have conversations about that. And I'll be like, guys, you know, if you don't want to do it, just don't do it. So yeah, it's been amazing. And I'm lucky enough to have such a great group of students. And our class was a class that really empowered one another, and that's what all the teachers used to say, like, you guys are a great group, and how you guys encourage each other. So I was just blessed to be in that class at that time with those teachers.
And you know what, that's what you need as well, because my main thing of purpose, well, my main thing is purpose in life. And I strongly believe like you don't know what your presence does for people. And that's a lesson that I've learned recently, or I've been learning recently. And because you're kind of like, okay, yeah, cool, this person likes me, or yeah, I'm cool with this person.
Yeah.
But really understanding the capacity of how important you are in this person's life as well is really kind of like, wow, okay, damn, I have a lot of responsibility here. And that's why I love championing people who are the authentic self, and I resonate with that. I resonate highly with that as well. So I just want to touch on this briefly.
Yeah.
Your strong faith in God. I want to tap into this because how, the generic question, how did you have such a strong faith in God? Like, how did you find it, and how have you held it so close, literally next to your heart, whilst navigating this industry?
Well, I found Jesus at the age of 17. I'm 24 now. And it was summer. I finished college. At the time, I was actually studying acting, but I didn't want to be an actor. I just did it so I could progress onto the dance course, because I didn't have my maths GCSE at the time, and I don't like maths.
Neither do I.
So
Wow.
I just had to do that, and you know, it was a summer, and I just felt like I didn't know what I wanted to do with myself, and I kind of like felt like I didn't have an identity. And that was a time that the Lord met me in my bedroom, and my life has changed ever since then. And I've just been on this journey with the Lord. Through my inconsistency, He's been consistent. So I've changed loads of jobs.
Hold on. I'm gonna stop it right there. Please tell that to the audience, because oh my goodness. If I wasn't mic'd up, I'd be running around the studio.
Literally, so through my inconsistency, Jesus has been consistent. And that's why I am who I am today, despite the many jobs that I've been in and the careers I've changed. So, yeah, man.
You see what I'm saying? When it resonates with you, you just like start doing stuff and you're like, oh my gosh. Literally. And that's amazing. So, okay, you're navigating this industry. You're facing challenges, right? You talked about doing your first kind of 12-hour shoot, which we all have a first. It's not fun. It's not fun. It's not. What did you learn? What was one of the most important lessons you learned on those shoots? Because we all talk about it and we're all like, oh yeah, 12 hours. And we're like, wow, that's amazing. But it's not until you're doing those 12 hours that you're kind of like, wow, I'm still alive. Yeah. So what was one of the main things you learned?
Okay, so on that shoot, so it was a recent shoot I did. It was for a short film titled Waving Whilst Drowning, in honor of Mental Health Awareness Month. So that'll be dropping in September.
Little plug there.
Little plug. Made by Cities on Hills, which is a production company. They make faith-based films.
I love that.
And they just champion things that relate to people. And their motto is, you know, creating films that essentially save lives, and it really does. So yeah, I went on that shoot. It was a 12-hour shoot. It was fun, but it was hard. The topic and the story itself was very, very hard, and it was a compelling story. And what I really learned on that set was endurance and consistently being dependent on God and being a dependent being, because it's very difficult to make films. It's difficult to be doing the same take over and over again, different shots, different angles, and keeping up that energy and staying in that space and staying in that character and
regulating yourself within that,
and still giving 100%. So what I really took was the art of endurance and just really always depending on God, never feeling like I don't need you, because I always need you. So endurance.
Now you mentioned production company.
Yeah.
You're going to start smiling now, because we're going to start talking about it.
What are we going to tell?
Christ in the industry.
Yes.
Tell us about it.
So Christ in the Industry is essentially a company, it's a ministry, it's a social media platform on Instagram that equips witnesses and is a safe place for actors in the industry and those that are also behind the camera. If you are a producer, a writer, you know, even the lighting
The
guy,
lighting,
whoever you
microphone.
are, if you work in the acting industry, it's a platform for you. And it's a place to fellowship, it's a place to have sound doctrine and to also be equipped for the industry, you know, learning what it's like to self-tape and being on set and set etiquettes and acting tips and all of that. So that's the equipping side of it. The witnessing side of it is the name Christ and remembering that we are a light in the industry. I think it's Matthew 15. I think so. And just remembering that we are a light and, you know, constantly witnessing to those that we come across in the industry, whether that's on set or industry events, and a safe place. We want to feel safe, sharing and being vulnerable and sharing the hard side of this industry, the mental battles, and no one is judged. And then we just fellowship all in all. And the reason why it's so online is because the acting industry, it's an industry where you're always alone.
There's a lot of self-tapes, there's a lot of videography.
Exactly.
Involved in it,
So when you're alone on your trailer, in your dressing room, you know, in a different country, Christ in Industry is a place online for you to feel connected. So we're hoping to do a lot of online events and then do an in-person gathering as well. But that is what
Where
Christ
can they find
in the industry.
you? Where can they find you?
So on Instagram, Christ in the Industry. My Instagram, Trenice Saddler. And we have an online event coming up on the 5th of August. And it's basically what it's like being a Christian in the acting industry. I'll have a guest on and we will just dive in, we'll fellowship, and we will just reason and then look at the Word of God and just talk about what it's like being a Christian in the acting
Plug
industry.
in, follow, you know what to do. Now, the reason why I say this as well is because not only are you holding Christ so strong to your heart, but you've also created a production company, essentially surrounding that as well. Now, you're really locked in on this thing. You're really locked in on this thing, and you've got essentially, you've given yourself this responsibility. How, and this is the part where we dig into you now. How are you managing that?
Wow. I would say because of community and the community I have around me, whether that's church community and my just friends and family, it's encouraged me to keep going when it's hard and when I don't feel like I'm worthy or I don't feel like this is for me. And then looking at Christ in the industry, it holds me accountable because I'm representing Jesus in such a big industry among different people with different views and different perspectives and different behaviors. So every time I look at that, I'm reminded why I'm here, you know. And then with Christ in the Industry, like you said, it's also a production company. So CTI Productions is like a branch off of it. And basically it's just creating films that live forever. That's the motto.
Purpose.
You know?
Purpose. See, it's tapping into the fact. I'm gassed. I'm excited. I want to start running around the room.
So we'll look future-wise soon. You know, I'm not gonna rush into it, but we are, you know, working on our first short film.
Come on.
And me being the writer of it, you know, being the founder and creative director, I'm also very involved in the creative process. So yeah, that's something to look forward to.
And that responsibility that you've given yourself in terms of like how you are managing it on a day-to-day basis. In terms of like, wake up, okay, God, I'm awake. Thank you for like keeping me alive. All my organs are working. That's one of the things they don't really emphasize. It's kind of like you wake up and you take it for granted, but it's like, look, my organs are working. I can speak. I've got clothes on my body. I can do all of this stuff. Now, let's go about the day. And on those days where it's challenging for you, or you feel those, let's say, for example, you get a self-tape and you're like, okay, cool, I've got to do self-tape, but it's a challenging self-tape for whatever reason that may be. On those days, on those times, how do you cope? Who do you fall back on? Is there like a, I don't know, like a trampoline for you on days where those days where you can't walk that path anymore and you kind of like, oh gosh, you slip a bit and someone's like, boing, no, you got this.
Yeah. For me, on those days, essentially, it's prayer, and understanding the power of prayer, and that not being my last resort, but being my first. You know, because it's always like we go through life, then I'll go and pray. But let me pray now and know that beyond the circumstance, there is a greater good, and all things work for those that love Christ. You know, even the things that
I want to
don't
run
even
around the
feel
room.
like it's fair.
Yeah.
There is glory in mind at the end of this, and prayer, man, and community and fellowship, and speaking to those that are also Christian like myself and on this acting journey that have, you know, done a few more things than I have that I can look to. Community, just friends, even those that don't act, just do life with me. We can relate on life, we can relate on pain. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Just those prayer, community, and fellowship, really. Yeah.
Wow. Oh, you're just inspiring me so much. Like, it's just, you know, one of them ones where you're kind of like, okay, I have to be cool because I'm on camera, but like, I kind of want to hug you right now, but I'm kind of like, okay, cool, let me just chill, whatnot. So that's really amazing because it's really resonating with me as well. So they know where to find you on social media. Please do follow, support. We really do need to support each other some more. So show love, follow the YouTube, follow the Instagram, lock in. Wow, what's next?
What's next?
Yeah.
What I can speak on, because you know there's some things you can't even talk
That's
about.
true.
Man. You can't even talk.
We be signing NDAs and stuff, you know, we can't be saying some things.
Literally. So what's next is my short film that I've been a part of, Waving Whilst Drowning, which will be out in September in honor of Suicide Awareness Month. Very proud of that film. It's very unique, it's compelling. Trigger warning, because obviously it's to do with suicide, but I would say it's probably the best of me in 2023. And
So far.
And there is a lot to look forward to. I'm proud of my team. I'm proud of the people I have around me. Fortunately, I can't speak on everything, but definitely just look out and
Look in, you're gonna follow, you're gonna find out soon. You're gonna find out soon. Well, Trenice, was amazing. Thank you so much for coming on and trusting this madman who hit you up and was like, hey, can you come and be on my talk show? And you're kind of like, okay. Okay, sure. All right, cool. I'll come down to your studio, like God knows where and whatnot.
Yeah.
So thank you for that.
No, thank
you
man.
for sharing what you shared with us as well. It's really empowering, really inspiring. There's a lot of gems in there. So please do watch it back, lock in, follow, support, show love. You already know the deal is. Guys, we'll catch you in the next one.